Yeah. I would not to have you yo-yo, but appreciate it. Okay, all right. I'm sorry, I think we surprised to make it.
Come on and everybody sit. Have a seat anywhere back here. Or you can sit over there. Yeah, you can sit right there. Okay. I'm gonna sit at the end with the at that. Okay, just give us a couple more minutes. In the meantime, hello, thank you, welcome to coming for our cooking club. I really appreciate it. Hopefully we'll have some more people coming. Of course, we have the amazing Maudine. Today we're gonna start off with, we're going to do knife skills. We wanted to be able to do something where we were showing you a few other things other than just the cooking, because knife skills and what kind of knives you use are so important in the kitchen, and how to use them properly make your life so much easier. So Tamika is going to be talking about knife skills. If you're not in the center, I can send a copy of the information. She's going to give it to me, and I can make sure that's on the Cooking Club website, and also to send it to anybody who requests. So, and then Maudine's going to follow with some things that are going to be small snack type things that could be made into meals, because we all, and vice versa, because we all know that as we're all, getting home, nobody wants to do a lot of cooking on a regular basis. So these are the kind of things that could be really easy, nutritious, something that we can do. I want to talk about a couple other things that we're doing soon. Next Monday, I am doing a fancy high tea. We're going to have petit fours, scones, and some finger sandwiches, cucumber and roast beef finger sandwiches. It's going to be very fancy, and you get to make your own either herbal or chai tea. A chai tea, if you're not familiar with it, is black tea that normally in India they'll create with different spices and things added to it. So that's my favorite. If I'm going to drink tea, that's the way to go for me. And then in January, Maudine will be back as moral support and nutrition questions. And we decided that what we're missing is cooking club that is constantly for people who don't normally cook, but it's always presented by people who cook. So we are going to have a couple of non-professionals, myself and Margie, who cooks even less than I do. And we're going to do the demonstration to show you that you don't have to do a lot of cooking in order to actually make a meal. Fingers are crossed, it should be fun. If nothing else, it'll be very entertaining. So I'm going to now pass you on to Tamika and Chef Tamika and Margie.
Barbara will be emphasizing
Barbara, the center is muted. If anyone's saying anything, we're not being able to hear anything. The center's still muted. We can't hear.
The center is muted. Please unmute yourself so we can hear you. Thank you.
I also can't hear anything.
Still can't hear. Barbara, we still can't hear. I can't hear.
Trying to
which is 9 inches, just because that's what's going on. Yeah, so it depends on what you trying to do with it. Yes.
You know, when I was doing a declutter, I found these things that were like sharpeners. And one of them is like, it's got like a little groove in it. And it looks like you're supposed to kind of make it do like that. But now when you're doing it, do you kind of lean it over to one side or the other? Because it doesn't, I mean, it's
You have
not,
to bring it to a manual. Yeah, so you hold it, you put it on the slate as you do it. And it's the first one is to sharpen it, and then the second one, I think it's called, is to even the blade. So it's not jagged.
I don't know, I'm thinking, well, if I do just on one side, that's not doing it.
Okay,
There was also, it just looked like a knife, something, screwdriver, like that, like a screwdriver. And it's got a handle and then it's gritty. Or is that something that,
that's the steel you're talking about. And that's the tool you would go and do the X's to sharpen the knife. So you don't have to keep sharpening it up and keep it, you know, you take the blade and you rub it against your thumb. And if it feels sharp enough, then you know it's ready.
and you're not,
If you wouldn't do it that. Like, slide it across, like.
Piece of paper in the air and doing like that. That would be fun.
Okay, any other questions? No, that concludes my part.
Okay, wait. So we're having a meeting planning this and I'm saying, well, are you gonna show us how to slice almonds? Her answer was, why are you gonna slice almonds? Buy the almonds sliced.
That's true.
Like sometimes. He said, because when you do that, they shoot across the table. Yeah, you're right.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, you need a knife, right?
Well, actually, I brought
Okay,
my face knife.
Okay.
Yeah.
Walking with the
Leave
knife,
the paring knife.
looking with the knife, guys, looking with the knife.
Yeah. All right, we will not run into you.
So could you, Barbara, could you make sure everybody gets a copy of the handout of the recipes?
Yes. Let me do that right now. Okay.
There's
All right, and everybody online, can you hear? Everybody's good now? I heard we had a problem with.
Yes, thank you so much.
Yes, Barbara, thank you so much. Hi, Maudine.
Is that a yes?
Yes, ma'am. We can hear you now. At least I can hear you.
Okay, I think we're good.
I guess I'm supposed to have this.
Yes, there you go.
I feel like I should do a sports, like. Watch the third baseman run after a short. Okay. Thank you. You're welcome. I have never done, I have a piece of, I don't know what you call it, it's sort of a sticky placematty looking thing that I keep under my cutting boards. Yes, a shelf liner. It looks like it would carry every germ the CDC warns us about, but I scrub it every time I use it with soap and water. So thank you all for joining us. Does everyone have a copy of the handout with the recipes? And at home, this will be online, correct, Barbara? Okay. On the website. So here was what today's theme is, not only knife skills, but also snacks as meals and meals as snacks. Because sometimes you just don't feel like eating a big meal, or sometimes there's a leftover that could be just a little bit enough to hold you until another meal is ready. There are benefits to many meals. Some people would call it grazing, and so it could boost your energy. It could improve satiety, or that sense of satisfaction and fullness following a meal. Reducing hunger throughout the day may balance your blood sugar and your insulin levels without taking in a large amount of food at one time, which is supposedly what's called pro-inflammatory. A smaller meal is much more body friendly. Reduce indigestion, depending, like someone who might have heartburn or gastroesophageal reflux, large meals can cause a lot of discomfort. Smaller meals are better. And it's a great option for anybody with a low appetite, whether it's medications you're on, or a physical medical condition you're experiencing, or just you're one of those that says, I fill up quickly. So I basically use some of my favorite ideas. And my first one, which probably should come as a surprise, is that everyone knows if I open a box of cornflakes or a box of Cheerios, anyone here ready to eat cereals? Yeah, we keep them. Well, guess what? Popcorn, which I own, is my cocaine, is a really good, simple breakfast cereal. So it was served with a bowl, and everyone's gonna get a chance to try it out. It's very high fiber. It can be low fat depending on the brand you buy, or if you make it yourself. And then you can enhance it, not only with a bowl of milk, pouring milk on it, but how about if you took one of those cut apples? Now, I also brought from home, she said with confidence, my favorite knife. It's my favorite knife because I've had it longer than I've known my husband, and we're married 42 years. So I'm just used to it, and I know how to sharpen it, and I can manage to pull this off. So this is a cleaver. And it's also how you hold the knife, so you really should balance it, and it rocks. So let me show you how I would continue to dice this apple, and then put little bits of diced apple on top of my popcorn. And everybody's gonna have a chance to taste their enhanced bowl of cereal. That one didn't get chopped. Let's do it some more. Barbara, we're gonna wait till the end to pass out the samples, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Anything's ready.
Okay, what else is gonna make your bowl of popcorn not only a snack, but possibly a mini meal, or nutritionally dense? Well, one of the ways is to add nuts and dried fruit. So we put in some fresh fruit. Here are walnuts, which are famously high in another use for a night. It's to open a bag, right? Famously high in what is called alpha linolenic acid, or an omega-3 fat, which is very anti-inflammatory. Tons of excellent research on this one. Once again, a rough chop, keeping your fingers out of the way, as Chef Tamika told us. And popping this on top of our bowl of mystery cereal. I also, if I were at home, I might add some dried raisins. Well, raisins are dried cranberries. I'm even gonna pop a couple of, cashews on it. Unsalted or salted. There's a funny, bit of trivia. That if I poured out an ounce of cornflakes. And next to that, I put an ounce of potato chips. Which one do you think has more sodium?
Chips.
Well, I have a vote for chips, I have a vote for chips. So this is a loaded question. The cornflakes have more sodium per ounce than the chips. And here's why. The idea of tasting salt is that that crystal of sodium chloride gets on your mouth, on your tongue, dissolved in your saliva, where it immediately activates sodium receptors in your mouth, among your taste buds. Now, in the case of cornflakes, you got corn starch, you got malt, you got all those other ingredients, and salt is added. And then those are rolled out and pressed and then roasted to make a flake. So the sodium in the cornflake is not immediately in contact with your saliva in order to create a saline solution that activates the salt receptors. So you don't taste the salt in the cornflake. But those little crystals of salt on the potato chip are going, yeah, right? That's what they do to me. No one else gets the, yeah, that was good. It was worth waiting for. So does that make cornflakes dangerous? No. All of our goals for daily sodium are based on the entire day, not any one food or one meal. And if you put a package in the supermarket of cornflakes with no salt added, it's going to taste like the box the cornflakes came in. So it really makes enough of a difference to make it more appealing. But it's by no means low sodium any more than potato chips are high sodium. Okay, so I diced up a few cashews, and if we had some almonds already slivered, I'd throw them in there. Maybe some cranberries, edible, a little bit of milk. And you have a fairly fun, simple breakfast or snack. It has protein from the nuts. It has complex low glycemic index carbohydrate from the popcorn. The omega-3 fats. It's just really an unexpectedly delicious and simple mini meal or snack. Yes.
How did you pop the popcorn? Didn't that add grease to this?
Yes, so this is the, excuse me, the brand is Skinny Pop. And the coffee. And the bowl of the cup of water. If you pop it at home, you could use one of those poppers that uses no fat. It's like an air popper. And if you use an oil to pop your own popcorn, like olive oil or canola oil, I think it's fairly body friendly. And let's not forget, a little bit of fat is really what extends the satiation or the sense of fullness and satiety in your meal. Okay. All right. I'll set this here. It's not meant to say it's off to the trash. It's just for later. Yes. I do. At home, and yes, you can. So the popcorn is the surprise element. You'd say, oh, I think popcorn is a snack. Well, I can take another roll. Yeah. Okay, so one of my favorite snacks during the day is peanut butter and apple. So I'm gonna show, well, we've already seen an apple sliced up nice and tidy by Chef. Oh, actually, I have some of the hot water from the tea. Thank you so much. You guys all know me and my cough, right? Okay, so unrelated to our cooking club, I actually did get to a pulmonologist, and one of the things I was prescribed was Symbicort for 8 weeks. Has anyone ever gone to the pharmacy to buy that? It's over $400. I said, my last name is Nelson, but my first name is not Rockefeller. So it just makes you scream about the imbalance of access to good medicine and good medical therapies. So, anyway, we're moving on back to our apples. So, one of my favorite snacks, which also becomes a lunch, is apple and peanut butter. Who loves peanut butter? Okay, who's allergic to peanut butter? I want to keep you. Okay, cool. So these are, mind you, the ingredients that I'm using today are provided by the kitchen. So some of the things are purchased for use here in the center, but if you or I, we could buy Skippy or Target brand or ShopRite brand peanut butter. So in the meantime, these are also great when you're traveling and you don't want to have a jar. It's quite.
As a measure.
It's an excellent point. This is a way to have a portion management. And I'm not going to taste it myself, but to me, this is better than a brownie. I swear, it's just delicious. Good protein source, has a modest amount of calcium, good fiber, very convenient, very easy, and could be lunch or it could be a snack. So we will invite everyone to have apple and peanut butter when we do our distribute our samples. Okay, what else? Apple and peanut butter. Well, I'm gonna go into another demo with you. One of the things I'm gonna make is a deviled egg. And deviled egg is good, but it could also be just by itself or as a breakfast. If you wanted it as a lunch, you could take something like romaine lettuce, make sure it's nice and rinsed. Pop it in the microwave for 10 seconds, or somehow just heat it so that it wilts. And then wrap your deviled egg and or egg salad in the romaine. So it's an easy snack and definitely a very tasty menu item. So here is we have something on the second page of our handout called miso sweet potato bites. I discovered this recipe when I worked at a pantry, when we got from some source a donation of a huge number of very small and narrow sweet potatoes. And so we needed to give our participants, our clientele, something to do different. So the sweet potato bites, as it says, unpeeled sweet potatoes. These are peeled. If you are going to eat them with a peel, you're going to scrub the peel as well. Did you know that sweet potatoes have a sprout retardant sprayed on them? So that we're all a little bit over 55, just a little bit. But we all remember sweet potatoes in the bin sprouting, right? We would have those lovely vines growing out of them. And most consumers will throw them away or not buy them again. So it's not a dangerous thing for us as humans, but I just like to scrub mine because I do like to eat the skin. So I'm going to slice these guys thin, and all of us will sample them when we get back to it. I might could make them a little fatter even. Let's try that. Now I'm going to make the tofu, the miso blend. Here goes. That was me washing my fingertips. We're going to start with the ingredients that ask for 1/4 of a cup of mayonnaise. I know it's here. Okay. So 1/4 of a cup is 4 tablespoons. And I do not want to drive Kevin crazy. Do you have a measuring cup, Kevin? I promised him I would chill on the last minute requirements. So you're gonna have 1/4 of a cup of mayonnaise, 2 tablespoons of white miso. Now the white miso isn't because the red miso or the dark orange miso are the wrong flavor. It's this time truly just for the appearance, because this is meant to be very pretty. Okay, and then we're going to add lemon juice. We're going to add tahini, which is.
I haven't heard you.
And you saw that lost look in my eye, I think. Oh, that's perfect, thank you. So So a fourth of a cup. There are ways to wing it. So I'm gonna do one of my winging things with you. So take your hands with your palms touching. And then you intersect your fingers 90 degrees to each other, not 89 degrees, not 91, okay? And that inside of your hand is approximately a half a cup. Now everyone's hands, so your palms are touching. And then you make your fingers crisscross. And the inside of your palms is approximately a half a cup. So a fourth of a cup is half of that. So if you do want to measure this scientifically, you could kind of say it looks like the inside of my palm or a little bit less. I'm going to be a little more scientific. I thought I had one of my spoons from home that doesn't have a hole, and I was going to use the end of the spoon as a scooper. So let's get it. Let's do this. A bit. I'll use this spoon in a short while to scrape off ginger. So in the meantime, let's get our miso together. And we are looking at approximately, yeah, about a fourth of a cup. So I'm gonna put that in here. Thank you. A smidgen. We really have a very ambitious set of ingredients and utensils today. Far more than other days rather. Okay, now I'm going to measure out, it says 2 tablespoons of white miso. So here's the miso. A tablespoon is 3 teaspoons. And normally this kind of tablespoon is smaller, but we're going to wing it. So I'm going to do a generous one, which is going to be 1 tablespoon, and a generous one, which is going to be the second. Okay. Now, next to that, or in addition to that, we're going to add 2 tablespoons of tahini, which is in the jar. So this one also is, in a way, vegan, depending on if you could use vegan mayonnaise. Otherwise, at least you're getting good protein sources without incorporating any extra, like cheese or egg or something. Okay, I'm just mixing the tahini up. This is sesame seeds that have been ground. It calls for black sesame seeds, so you'd think, why is that redundant? It's really, again, just to look cute. Don't we do a lot of crazy things in life just to look cute? Okay, so here goes the 2 tablespoons. I'm gonna do a little generous version of this one. And knock it off. And then another generous tablespoon. I hope I haven't contaminated it with too much mayonnaise. Next, we're going to add lemon juice, and it's 1 teaspoon of lemon juice. And you'd say, Kana, what's the point? A teaspoon, but just a little bit of citrus and that little bit of acid makes a kind of important difference. Then I'm going to do a half a teaspoon of grated ginger. And I have a fresh ginger here. Chef was kind enough to give me a grater. And then she says, well, how about this grater? And I literally froze in my place. I couldn't decide which grater I wanted to use. So we're gonna try both. So this is about a teaspoon of lemon juice. Now, in the best world, I should start whisking this just to make sure everything is gonna be happy. And from this, I'm now going to add a pinch of cayenne. I'm going to grate the ginger. Then for the scallions, those are really, once again, just to be cute. It's all about cute. Okay, Monday cuteness. Over here, looks like it could be a little looser. All the stuff is stuck in the whisk, right? Okay. We got a whisk with a little more attitude. Get everybody moving around. I'm gonna see if we can negotiate coming out of the whisk this way. This would be where, if you say, why didn't you start with a fork? Say, why didn't I have what's that blender? Bullet, something or other? Yeah. Or that one, but yeah, that could have hurt, wouldn't hurt too. I actually don't own any of those toys. I like the sort of physical working it and saying, okay, we have to use something else. So maybe I'm gonna put a tiny bit more lemon juice to loosen this up. What do you think? Yes. I said a tiny bit. So while this one is deciding that it's gonna loosen up for me, I'm gonna go over here and do the ginger. How does anyone get their ginger ready? Do you have a method?
Peel it and then I grate it.
Yeah. So when you peel it, do you use a special
I
utensil?
use a potato peeler.
Potato peeler? Anybody else? Have a ginger peeling system? Well,
Brandy's method of using a spoon.
the spoon. Yeah, who's Brandy?
She's one of our other.
Oh, yes. Yeah, that's kind of the easiest. In fact, here. This is. Oh, that's a good question.
Repeat the question.
How do you know good ginger when you see it? That's a good question. I've been in stores like Top Tomato on Broadway in Yonkers. And someone who I presume cooks with ginger more often than me said, this ginger is trash. And I'm thinking, looks fine to me. So obviously there are, levels of preference. I'd say if you smell it and when you pinch it, it's not mushy. But you should be able to get a ginger smell that isn't off. Does anyone else have a way to give her some tips on that one?
It shouldn't be dried and wrinkled.
There you go, shriveled up? No, not good. Yeah, it shouldn't look like old pantyhose. I know you guys look, what's old pantyhose look like? Old socks? Okay. All right, so let me have a moment to get back to the grating. And I'm breaking it so I can get more of an exposed edge for the grating. Barbara, do we have to end probably at 3?
No.
Okay. No one else wants to Zoom and no one else wants to Zoom? Okay. Excellent. All right, now we're going to do the great comparison. The great comparison. Okay. By the way, if you make ginger tea, I usually just wash off the ginger and use it in simmering water. I don't bother to take the skin off, and I wash it because I want to be sure that there's no fingerprints on it. Okay, grater A. Let's see what we get. We got me dropping it. The gloves do not give you quite the grasp you want. And then that's for a half a teaspoon, which isn't a lot. So let me just. Okay, I don't want to blame the grater. I think it's the grater.
That's labor intensive. You get.
Yeah. Okay. That's probably the amount that it calls for. And I don't need to dirty another one just to see, but I guess you got the idea of the half teaspoon. I love ginger. Let's put a little more. Plus,
You know, this probably better to put it on top of a cross that way.
there we go. Yeah. Everyone's with us. Yes. I feel like a scene from what was that story that had I know that, don't you hate it when someone starts a sentence? The Addams Family, when Morticia was being tortured and she says, oh, you've done this before. The funniest things come to mind when you're grating ginger. Okay, let's get this thing going. One of the things that would help, but I'm not going to do it today, might be to put this in the microwave for a hot second. Because the tahini is an oil-rich food, and it has been refrigerated, I think, so it could just be that needs to be kind of coaxed. But for the purpose of our thing, and this should be a tiny bit looser, maybe another dollop of mayo. And then I'm gonna put it on our sweet potatoes and sliver up that scallion and make it look so appealing that you'll think, why haven't I done this before? Okay. I may even do it with a normal spoon, because this is slowing down the process. Okay. You'll get the idea, you'll get the general flavors because they are blended, they're just, they're not sort of smoothie and runny like the syrup. Okay. So the closest I'm gonna get for the moment is a little dollop. I'm gonna give it a little bit of a clear. Ah. She's good. Keep her. Okay, if you happen to go online where the recipe is on your recipe is the source. You'll see this looks a little bit like, almost like condensed milk. It's very creamy and runny. We're good. I've done this at home and it can look different, but the flavor is really what matters. Here we go. Because that miso and that tahini and that little dollop of mayonnaise is magical. And then I'm going to sliver the scallions and sliver and sprinkle on the black. And tell me if you wouldn't think of using this as some sort of an hors d'oeuvre or even part of your dinner. To get out that beta carotene of the sweet potato. Get the potassium in that sweet potato, get the protein in that miso, get the, what are called the probiotics of that miso. There's just so many. This is almost the whole package. Okay, here we go. Scallion, and we want this to be scary thin. You want it to almost look like you didn't really mean to use it at all, did you? Because it's just a little X, like you're making a little crisscross. And then I'll sprinkle on the black sesame seeds. We'll all be hopefully impressed with this as a little mini meal. The other thing about the scallion is that it is kind of fibrous and you just don't want to have to chew on it and pull it out of your teeth. You know what I mean? I think it might be a little strong.
You're talking about the onion, you have to repeat it.
Thank you. The question is, what if I just use plain onion? My thought was it could be very strong. And these are, you could almost even use, now here I go again, showing my age. The very, 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 very skinny onions that look like this.
Chives.
Chives, yeah. Which would be easier to, okay. So I'm just gonna do a little crisscross. I'm gonna do one each and understand that the time remaining for me to cut these extra fine. I don't want to take that much more time.
So this is really cosmetic more than anything else.
I could make a case for the nutritional contribution, but we do eat with our eyes. And this is really saying, I have taken ordinary food and turned it into something artful and tasty. And then they say, oh, yeah, let's give it a try. Okay, black sesame seeds, here we come. And hopefully they don't bounce across the table. Barbara, what do you think? Should we pass these
Very
out now?
pretty.
Should we pass these out now? Why not?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay, so let me go get plates and I just want to make sure everybody online could see it.
and please feel free to go to the website where the recipe comes from, and of course, they have professional photography. Just a little bit there. Okay, now our next recipe on today's set of exciting ideas is deviled eggs. And we're gonna do also pizza bagel. Let's do the pizza bagel. So how many of us have a bagel in the house? Just gonna grab a. Yes. Which probably is a little easier to navigate than the bagel, isn't it? So let's imagine we are doing either bagels or English muffins. The goal here is to once again remind ourselves that we can have mini meals. How come I'm pulling the one glove that has something stuck to it on the inside of the box? We're having a mini meal that could also just be a snack. And over here. So cut. We thought of doing everyone getting a quarter. There would be a knife skill in here for cutting bread with a bread knife, but bagels shouldn't resist. Nah. So she offered, do I want the bagel slicer? Well, since the bagels are only have one little piece of dough holding it together, I'm gonna. Okay, so if I were doing a bagel as a breakfast, I would toast it, I would do maybe the cream cheese. If I was rich, I would use the lox. But maybe I'm gonna make instead a bagel pizza. I'm gonna put the unused bagels in here for the moment. And the bagel pizza means you're going to first put a base of tomato sauce. Oh, you know who didn't get in that? The miso was the paprika.
Oh,
Okay, so we're gonna pretend that I added the cayenne to that miso base. Pretend. Would anyone like to put a pinch on top? Okay. Thank you all for measuring it out for me. Okay. So we're gonna do first a little smear of tomato sauce. The goal here again is to say bagel, not just for breakfast. Bagel could be lunch, could be snack, another meal.
this is delicious.
Is it good? All
Mm.
right. It's the sweet potato, if you ask me, that you can't go wrong with a sweet potato. Okay, so here's our. I feel like I should be singing like an Italian song or something, right? Okay, never mind. I don't know if I know. Do we know any Italian songs? Yeah, that's the one that comes to mind. Too many movies.
Much as I know.
Yeah. I'm thinking, is it Chicago? The Chicago, the musical group. Saturday in the park, somewhere in there is something about Italian. Singing Italian songs. Don't make me feel like I'm silly up here, okay? Okay, so we have. It's totally the microphone. We have started. Now we're gonna put on our grated cheese. And what else would you use on your bagel, your pizza bagel? How about mushrooms?
Definitely.
Okay, so do you like your mushrooms frozen? Do you like dehydrated? Do you take your mushrooms fresh?
Sauteed.
Sauteed? Yeah, I like mine sauteed. What do you saute? I do mine in olive oil.
Yeah, me too.
Okay. Are there any other sassy things we could put on our pizza bagel? Because I'm imagining that I've opened the refrigerator door and I said, what else is in here? It's a tomato sauce. Maybe I found an old bottle of olives that's been sitting since the Obama administration. I'm not sure. What else? What else could be in your refrigerator, lost but not forgotten, or forgotten too? Capers. Okay, we could sassy up our pizza bagels with some capers. How much? Can you see what I'm doing? Do we have enough cheese?
Anchovy.
Oh, yes. Absolutely. So I'm gonna pop these in here and ask sous chef to throw them into the oven.
Yeah,
Okay,
so everybody can see what they look like.
and so if we were, as you can see, we have the table full of various ingredients. This is a go in your refrigerator and see what you have hanging out. Little piece, leftover pieces of chicken. I have never had a big pizza with pineapple. I'm not sure. Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Brown rice inside of a pineapple. You know, I might open a can of mushrooms that I might have bought on sale at ShopRite or somewhere. Again, it's somewhere in the back of the pantry. And that's where, when the pizza bagel starts off simple, but can really become quite a treat. Okay, what else do we have on our thing today? Deviled eggs. And I'm gonna do the first one here, which is the vegan egg salad. So what's the story? The vegan egg salad says, you're not eating an egg because that's an animal, but you like the look of the egg and the taste of the egg. So it incorporates a combination of chickpeas to represent the egg yolk and cannellini beans. Now, cannellini beans are the white kidney beans, but unfortunately, I forgot to bring them. It's on me. So we're gonna make the recipe with twice as many chickpeas. The texture might be different, the appearance might be different, but it ought to be good. So it says, I'm gonna cut the recipe in half because it calls for 1 can of chickpeas, well drained. And it says reserving some of the liquid, but I'm okay to use real water, it's okay. You all have all witnessed the recipe using aquafaba, the water in the chickpea can. You whip it up and whip it up and whip it up, and it turns into like a vegan whipped cream. Not in today's demo, okay. So what else does it say? I'm gonna cut the recipe in half. So it's a half a cup of vegan mayonnaise. Would you guys be okay if I use real mayonnaise? So 1/4 of a cup. And I'm going to wipe off the miso spoon. And I'm gonna do, yes,
So stay fresh, like, you know, your fridge soap.
I have never had miso do anything other than just get a tiny bit hard if for some reason I didn't have the lid on tight. So I think it's good for years.
Really?
It's really rich in salt. So whatever can live on that salt, God help us all. Have you guys heard of the tardigrade? Tardigrade. So it's a microscopic animal that has no eyes, but it has this circular face and it has about 6 legs. It lives on the earth in the most extreme environments. Very hot, very cold, very saline. Tardigrade. Tardigrade is my hero because that rascal survives everything. And we have seen it in the soil around ponds and lakes. It doesn't seem to do harm to humans, but it is an amazing thing of a living creature that doesn't resemble anything else we know about. It doesn't look like a micro amoeba, it doesn't look like a worm. Okay, let's get back. That was because I say the tardigrade could probably live on the miso, but it's okay. So we're gonna do instead of a half a cup of mayonnaise, we're gonna do 1/4 of a cup. And double checking the recipe there. I'm gonna make 4 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, we're winging it, okay. And then the next ingredient says 1½ teaspoons of Dijon mustard. I never met a Dijon mustard that I didn't want more of. And we have a modest container. We know that again, the ingredients that are being provided by the kitchen are coming in, institutional size. So I'm just going to wipe off the spoon. It has mayonnaise on it, but I don't want to put mayonnaise down in the Dijon. Thank you. That's called one-track mind. I can only think of one thing at a time, wiping off the spoon. Kevin, is it okay to wipe off the spoon and put it in the Dijon? And I might have, I have a plain one. That's what I thought. Maybe I should pause. Okay. How much does it ask for? The tiniest little bit. It says, 1.5.
I do, I gave you a bunch of small spoons.
You did. But I have to get my elbow.
That's good point.
What do you think? It's good. Yes. Okay. This is the spoon you gave me with the jar of mustard. Okay, and I'll set this back and remain pristine and not contaminated. Okay, what else does it ask for? It asks for turmeric. The turmeric is in there, it's later on, but it's also for color. So you want that egg yolk and egg white effect. Okay, then sea salt, we're gonna pass. Then it calls for black pepper to taste. We have little packets if you want to do that at home, but we're gonna put them all together now. I'm gonna pass on the pickled pepper of choice. These would not be quite right because they needed to be, pickled peppers are submerged in boiling vinegar so that they slightly cook and get a little tender. So we don't want a fresh raw one. But if you put raw chopped pepper in your egg salad, that's fine. Want me to do it? Let's get it done. All right, next one. 2 teaspoons of classic yellow mustard. For purposes of skill, once again, I'm rocking my knife, cutting on a little bit of slit. And again, if I were to simmer this in some slightly sweetened and slightly salty vinegar, let it sit in the pot for about a half hour, that's your pickled pepper. With Peter Piper. Gotta finish that. Picked up, Pekka, it's not more others, okay. And there you go. Now, another ingredient that we're adding to our vegan egg salad is the 2 teaspoons of classic yellow mustard, but I'm cutting it in half. And then 1/3 of a cup of finely diced celery. Celery was on its way. Did we not have it? But if we don't sweat it, okay. Kevin's getting his 10,000 steps cooking club day. All right, and let's do the turmeric. How much turmeric if we're cutting it in half? And we're gonna do basic yellow mustard.
1/4 teaspoon.
Okay. I'm gonna cover this. I hate to do this. I'm gonna dump these in the trash. Because I don't want to put them back in the jar.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's too late. What I was trying to do was get rid of the rest of the black sesame seeds. But if I were at home, I would say, who cares? But turmeric is going to be a pinch. I think when it comes to a half a teaspoon, that's what the wind blew in. I know I got these perfect little spoons. Thank you. Okay, that's gonna be it. And now this one says to throw in some more herbs. It says like, chive, scallion, tarragon, dill. So I think I snatched from the kitchen some dill. And it says 1/3 of a cup. And dried would be, you're going to use approximately half of whatever the fresh is, or even less. So I'm just gonna give a little sprinkle. I love dill. Okay. I have this thing from the kitchen, Herbe de Provence. I have to say it that way, make it sound like I speak French. Not even, okay. Here goes. Just a little bit, and now I'm going to put in the celery. So it asks for diced celery, 1/3 of a cup, so we're gonna cut that in half. I like to cut my celery down the center of the spine. Anybody else have a system? And then I think we can probably, everybody's gonna have a baby, but we can probably make some miso sweet potato bites. Okay, again, I'm just dicing. Keeping my fingers out of the way as the chef taught us. Taking the cleaver. And then 1/3 of a cup, which we're cutting in half. What do you think? That's enough?
Yeah.
Okay. The vote was is enough. And so the only other thing that's not in here is the cannellini bean, which would have been representing the egg white, and a little bit of regular yellow mustard, which I swear Kevin did give me, so fill in the sweet potato. Okay, so let's squeeze in some mustard. How much is it worth? 2 teaspoons? So we're gonna do 1 teaspoon? Okay. So every time I see mustard, I automatically think hot dog. Anyone else? What's your mustard association? Sauerkraut, hot dog, right? What else? Nothing else comes to mind for mustard people?
Deviled eggs.
Ah, yeah. Get out of town, yeah. Well, now that would be Dijon mustard, not like ordinary milk. There's probably a fascinating history about mustard. Its origins and the variations on it. How much mustard, is that enough?
Yeah, that's enough.
Okay.
Well, it was only,
She's, you're right.
It was only-
Somebody should stop talking and pay
Right.
attention to what she's doing. Okay, so here is kind of a vegan egg salad. And if you would please imagine the white cannellini bean. I hope I didn't add too much. The idea is that that would give you beautiful blend of the amino acids that are part of our protein requirements. This could easily go with some crackers. It could be scooped up with some peppers. And now we're gonna do the companion, which is real. Well, so far, what's your favorite? I think the popcorn is still mine. Okay, we're gonna do real deviled eggs. Now, I don't know how and what magic they use in the kitchen, but none of these eggs are goofy. Who here can unshell an egg without any of the egg breaking away into the shell? It always happens to me.
I wet it,
Okay, so tell me the magic.
I wet the shell. And so as I'm peeling, I
Yeah,
keep it wet.
under,
Yeah.
I've tried it all. Okay, but I don't mind that you're letting me stand here and be the only one admitting that when I break an egg, I'm a big girl, I can handle it. Okay, so deviled egg means we slice the egg in half, we're gonna put the yolk in here. And another trick is to find how to put the yolk with the mixture back into the egg. Make it real cute. I usually just take like an empty Ziploc bag. I could take anybody's recommendation on that. And then cut a little piece off the corner and basically use it like. No? How would you fill your deviled eggs? With a fork? What planet are you from? Oh, you don't make deviled eggs? Oh. I'm not gonna judge. What's wrong with her? Okay, no, I'm not judging at all. So everyone should get a deviled egg. How many warm bodies are here? Hi, Margie. 10-ish, 12-ish. So I'm gonna cut 6 eggs out. Because even though the eggs are already boiled and peeled, I'm sure the kitchen can use them. So I don't want to just randomly cut them up. Okay. How many people did we say? Around 12-ish?
We have 11 here.
Okay. So the deviled egg is a little it's a little labor intensive. Is it worth it? Yes. But that's why I wanted you to have the option of either a vegan one or a real one. And the idea is that you can use this one as a snack if you make a few up in advance. If they're in my refrigerator, there's no way I won't eat all of them at one time, but you probably have better self-control. If they are wrapped up in a piece of, no, I was gonna say to eat them in a nice piece of romaine lettuce. They really do make a nice little lunch. A low carb lunch in this case. And who needs a low carb lunch? I mean, maybe we should all be getting, a lot of hands went up. Because, you know, they say that 70% of Americans either have or are at risk for diabetes. And it doesn't mean that eating carb causes it, but you can definitely keep your kind of your insulin response tamed by not always having very carb-rich meals, if you think you might be genetically predisposed. That's too much information. Okay, I'm gonna set these guys over here. I think I asked for one platter too many, but let's go. Now, what is your favorite mush for your deviled eggs? Because I'm just making up basic now. Absolutely. Come on back here, May. I'm gonna get, I'm sort of eggy hand. And I use hot sauce and I use Dijon mustard. What else is good? So let's use some of that cayenne. Okay. I'm not gonna do celery, but I might do a couple of her pieces of onion here. What do you think?
Do you have a favorite hot sauce? Because I bought something called Steve and Frank or something.
Yeah.
And I was sorry I didn't buy Frank's hot sauce because I think it's stronger. Do you have a favorite?
No. I'm a cheap date. I get store brand. And if it's really disappointing, I don't buy it again. But Frank's at least is a brand that you can hopefully, you know, be expected to be consistent from time to time, from
Yeah.
one batch to the next. Do anyone else have a favorite? No?
Well, people go to the.
Yeah, sriracha. It is. It's not really a hot sauce, my daughter told me. Cause she's the one always corrects, right? How come it is that the older daughter just knows everything and knows more than you? Okay. Okay, so here I'm gonna do, with a clean spoon, a generous amount of Dijon for those few eggs. And I think we are officially, ooh, okay. That's an odd number. What happened?
One kind of got lost on the way over.
Well, we fortunately have lots more of all the ingredients. Okay, so I got my thing. You're gonna do the mayo.
Here, mayo's here.
Thank you. I need a tracker. You're my Hawkeye. Thank you. I think I've run out of clean spoons, so I'm just gonna wash a few. Okay,
Cut these in quarters?
please do. Oh, yes. And if I need to make more, let me know. And don't forget, we're gonna dip hummus with these beautiful slices of Is everybody okay that spoon is clean?
Beautiful.
I have more.
Obviously, she doesn't do the same dishes that I don't like to do. Okay, it's sort of not clean, but I think it had tomato sauce on it, so I'm gonna get back over here in case we need to do a couple. Okay, so we're putting mayo in here. Next, what are we gonna add? I think we agreed on the cayenne. So I don't want the cayenne to feel unloved. It's that over here. Just a little.
I don't see any.
No, no, you
Oh, there we go. Oh, there we go. Yeah.
Really? Stop there? Okay.
He said for refill.
It would be if we had, but I don't want anyone to go to the kitchen, left anything else out here. We're good. We got everything for visual, for good memories. Okay, hot sauce is being replaced by the cayenne, salt and pepper. Anybody can get in hands. So the idea of this, once again, is to say it makes a good snack, it makes a good meal. Don't be afraid of egg yolks. Yes, it has cholesterol. It also has vitamin D. It also has, well, it has iron, but the iron is poorly absorbed. So we're not going to brag about the iron in our egg. But an excellent source of protein. The iron in the egg is actually a relatively generous amount, but it's in a complex in something called avidin. which is so that the chick, should the chick be fertilized and start to grow, the chick has iron for its own growth. So it's essentially unavailable to us as humans. Oh, well. We can get iron from other wonderful foods like liver. Gross. If you serve me liver, I will never speak to you again. Just. We are, yes, this is a universal constant. Okay. But I know people who love it. Who love you too. You can have mine. I will. You don't mind, okay? So had I a fork, I probably could get this knife now. So let's see if we can do this in an elegant manner. So we're gonna use the 2-spoon approach. Ready? And we're gonna not bother with the romaine, we're just gonna consider this a nice little treat. Okay, what do you, just for a joke, what do you absolutely prohibit in your egg, your deviled egg? A little garlic powder wouldn't hurt. And I might sprinkle dill on top at the end. That would be good. Anything else you'll say, no, don't do that. I'm not doing bacon bits. No. I'm not doing, what else? You know how people say, don't put raisins in my potato salad or I'll punch you, you know. Nobody gets violent, but they get mouthy, as my mom used to say. What words did your mom used to say when you knew you had almost said too much to her? Like, watch that tone of voice, that was an old one, right? What else? So one of the things that's coming up, the cooking club, is for us to, thank you, to kind of remember our favorite recipes and what different foods mean to us. Deviled eggs for us was definitely a special, like a summer thing. There's nothing on the calendar that says you can't wear white after Labor Day, you can't make deviled eggs after summer. But somehow, do we?
People do deviled eggs already.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, I feel I have permission. One year we had a party at our house. It was kind of Valentine's Day, but my daughter didn't want it to feel like only couples could come. So we called it Queen of Hearts, which is basically saying, dudes, we don't care. But anyway, she made deviled, and she says, we want the house to look like, and the food and everything to look like pink threw up all over the room. So she put red food coloring in the deviled egg. It was adorable. Yeah. And of course we had to have, mom is doing the baking, of course. What's that chocolate cake that has red? Red velvet. But gosh, Maudine, the word red is a name. Okay, so I think I'm gonna stop futzing here. Where's that dill? Come on, dill, show your stuff. And here we go. I'll use the sprinkle side. Are we ready? I mean, we'll do it up here, we're just gonna waste the dill. Let's come down. Okay. Oh, it's so pretty. Remember, it doesn't have any salt and pepper. So it's neither cornflakes nor popcorn nor potato chips. And what I want to do a few more slices of the pepper so that we can scoop up some hummus. How are we doing so far? Because that essentially is the end of our set of recipes and our the chat part of many meals and snacks and enjoying them all. Questions, comments? All right, so who's gonna eat some scooped apple and peanut butter? Because I'll cut those first.
Definitely.
Okay, we're gonna cut up some more apples. And this is also a fine time if you want to talk about any other questions or sure.
Concerned about, I feel you need to saute them.
Oh,
Is that, do people eat it like fresh in a salad or something?
yeah, spinach salad has raw mushroom. Now, I think you're coming up with a good question, which is, is there some nutritionally or beneficially, anything different between raw and cooked?
Yeah.
I somehow remember reading something that I don't remember the details of, that cooked is better. But if it was dangerous, I'm quite sure our food culture would have taught us long ago, don't mess with raw mushrooms. And the other thing about mushrooms is that the information, the research on their benefit for any number of anti-cancer properties. So there's a mushroom that has something called an aromatase inhibitor. The idea of aromatase sounds like the word aroma. It's an enzyme that seems to encourage cells to divide faster. And some of this, not every cell, but some cells have these aromatase receptors on them. So there's this mushroom that grows, it's a tree lichen, basically a mushroom that grows very, very high on some trees. And we're trying to preserve forests because these mushrooms can't be cultivated. But mushrooms are fascinating organisms. Hope you're enjoying this good food. Okay, so we're cutting up apple. Our bagel halves have gone around. Did everyone get a bagel? Because I can cut if you want. Okay. So, Tamika said she would cut the tops and the bottoms off the apple and then cut out the core. I'm gonna just try to be a little fussier. If you get a little piece of apple core, you're like, really don't call me at midnight. It's cool. And I do love a sliced apple with peanut butter. So, Barbara, whenever you get back, we can do like 2 apples and a cup of peanut butter for each person. I'll just get the apple slices lined up. And then I will get the popcorn. Does anybody want to eat popcorn with butter, with milk? They're slow on that one. Maybe some liver instead, yeah. Can you do something more? Any almond milk or oat milk? Yeah. Then I'll do some more peppers and we can get this one going. How many apples do you need?
So everybody's getting 2 slices.
So these apples were cut earlier, they turned brown, which is just an enzymatic thing. It's not, okay, cool.
We just need the chickens.
This was gonna be one of those mother expressions. Don't tell me you're not gonna eat that. Blah, blah.
Some lemon juice.
Yes. So the reason why the lemon juice works is because it's an enzyme that causes the browning. It's nothing about the quality of the apple. I don't ever notice a change in the flavor, but it just looks different, right? Okay. Oh, okay. So we have more apple. So lemon juice, of course, is an acid. And the acid inactivates the protein that is the enzyme that causes the browning reaction. And you'll find sometimes that apple packages are one of the ingredients says vitamin C or ascorbic acid. So maybe somebody will say, oh, they're doing that so that you have extra vitamin C in your food. Really, they're doing it to keep the apples from turning brown. And when I go to McDonald's, yeah, I go to McDonald's. Often. When I go to McDonald's, I would get the little apples in the bag. I don't think they're any more dangerous than the French fries.
They're like 2 years.
Oh, yeah.
And then it looked like it was something.
Well, they are being protected from deteriorating. So I'm doing the hummus. Everybody's gonna be hummus ready? Okay. How many hummuses? Cause I don't wanna
What goes with the hummus? The-
pepper.
oh, the pepper.
Yeah.
Okay, then.
I'm gonna do 5 and then see who else is. What do you think? 2 of them? Yeah, 2. Some more as needed. See what's more. I haven't done this brown hummus before.
I'll start passing back my back. Back to the phone.
Everything need 3? No, you can bite one of them. When it's your own cup of hummus, you know, you can double dip, it's okay. Nobody will talk about you. Okay, so do you have a favorite? Is it good? The egg thing? Okay. And the miso bites, the miso? On the sweet potato? I may cut up a couple more, because we have.
We need one more. I'm there. And we're good?
Did Kevin get any?
Kevin's not, no, he doesn't want it. These are good.
When have you had a bad chickpea?
I've never had a bag.
Chickpeas are always.
And I could re-eat that sweet potato thing, I might be making at my house.
Well, can you carry it home?
Yeah.
And it's gonna go, I know where to find love. Gonna try to sliver these really. So when I slivered the scallion green, was it too tough or was it okay? Does anybody ever forage for what are those spring onions, what are they called, the little chives? Does anybody forage for chives in the spring?
Just honey bricks, right?
Yes. We could give it a fancy name.
Ramps.
What's that?
Ramps.
No, ramps are not, they're in the, I mean, I don't know the technical term either. But this. If you live somewhere where people have lawns. And Saturday morning, everybody cuts their lawn, the whole neighborhood smells like onion. Because it's, you know, it's a spring weed, it's delicious. No, it's onion.
No, onion grass. And anything in the onion family is edible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The worst it's gonna be is. Chewy. But I don't worry about, you know, if you know where you're getting it, then you don't have to worry about dogs. I don't mean dogs biting you while you're picking it, I mean something else. I think you should try to take this home. Good. I made put one. Oh, yeah.
Popcorn with milk, or are you good? Everybody feels like it.
You know what, you made the effort, I'm gonna.
Okay. Yeah. We have one taker at least for the popcorn with.
I'm gonna change my glue.
Yeah. Two? Both of you? I will do that. And
There's some. Ah. Now, one of the things I did with my bowl, still over here. Was to sprinkle, to put diced apples in it and I chopped up some cashews and some walnuts, I'm gonna do that. For your bowls. I made a couple more.
okay, anybody here want to try?
I appreciate you said, you know, you done with it, let's go ahead and give it.
Hey, Steve, you gonna try it? Yeah. Okay.
going to set up the votes.
Ready? I have a question about, Island Miso sitting somewhere and it looks like when they used to have onion soup. It was dry.
Yes,
Just add.
I think you're so good. Yeah. So everyone, which I didn't put in today's, ramen noodles. So the flavor packet with the ramen noodles is a little artificial tasting. Not that I have never tasted it, that's how I know. And what I do is, instead of using the flavor packet, or maybe I'll just use a teeny bit of it, I add miso and peanut butter to the ramen noodles. And maybe a little soy sauce, but you know, I understand I'm adding to the sodium at that point, but that can give you, it doesn't have a chicken flavor or beef flavor or pork or whatever the ramen package is. But you're getting a quick convenient meal that you can also, you know, throw in some cooked veggies. It depends on how desperate I am. So sometime not long ago, I had a colonoscopy. Haven't we all had the fun of doing that? And they say, well, you can just drink liquids all day, but nothing that was purple or red. And
Bigger cups, we have a popcorn, do you want the bigger?
yeah, for the popcorn. Oh, that's fun. Yeah. Okay.
How many do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think it's 5.
Okay. So I'll scoop one.
Oops, just got stuff in there, that's.
Okay, yeah. Why am I scooping and then putting it in a cup? Just scooping. Yeah, it takes that kind of, I need Mackenzie to evaluate my corporate. Okay, now, I'm gonna put some diced apples on top. Everyone good? Couple of diced apples. Then I'll put on some, walnuts. And then some, cashews. And mind you, you can also add some more, popcorn.
And change my mind.
You can change your mind.
Sure.
You don't want any.
I want to.
You want to try it?
Yeah.
I counted you. I think I counted you.
Well, we have the winner of all, wait. And I made 4 more of the miso Yeah.
Yes, 6.
So I'm gonna dice up some more apple, and I'm gonna put in some cashews, and then some walnuts, and then here they, oh, you have spoons?
Yes, everybody's got spoons already.
And remember, if you're gonna use almonds, why are you breaking almonds up? Just buy slivered almonds. She tickled me when she said that, it's so true. Okay,
Could a food processor chop up almonds?
sorry. Online, say it again.
Could a food processor chop up onions? I mean almonds?
Yes, I think that I would worry that they might get very finely chopped before I could stop the food processor. But that's because I have a very old one, maybe the new ones,
Would it cream up also? Would it get creamy?
probably.
Mm,
I
okay.
would worry that my touch wouldn't be sufficient to have my almonds just get coarsely chopped, but they might get too finely chopped.
Okay.
Walnuts, the bag of walnuts. Right here. But I want you to have those omega-3 fats. Okay, coarsely chopped. Keep the fingers out of the way. And spread them out. Yeah, is that okay? I thought as contamination goes, that one would be the most hideous. Okay, 5 of the popcorn cereal cups are coming out.
Almond butter instead of peanut butter?
Sure, and I'm not sure how Asian it'll taste, and I think that's what I'm trying to do with ramen when I add peanut butter, miso. But why not almond butter?
But is that to make the soup?
Yes, right, to make the noodles taste flavorful. I usually don't eat them as soup. Oh, that's the thing, so I saved some of those chicken bouillon, the ramen noodle packets. To drink with the day where you can only drink liquids. But after you start drinking that stuff, you don't feel like eating anything. You just want the day to be over. How are we? Anybody else want hummus? Some more peppers?
I think we're good.
And we need to clean up because the center closes. Oh, okay. Thanks.
It just feels like that when it gets dark.
It's dark. Yeah, it's not good.
Yeah.
Everything was delicious.
Was it? Yeah, we did. So this was Barbara's idea. And she asked me to come up with ideas and I was like, well, I can only tell you what I like to do, but it's similar for all of us. Yeah. All human. We all have stuff in the refrigerator or the shelves that say, I can combo this up and see what happens. Can I make some more? Hummus, pepper?
What place does vanilla play in the snacks? Like the popcorn cereal,
Vanilla?
vanilla.
You mean like a little drop of it in the bowl and stir it up?
Right.
I don't see why not. Many years ago, and I think it's still in the market, there was an almond vanilla flake cereal. I think it was a Kellogg. And I took it to the beach for a beach weekend with my daughter, who's probably in the 8th grade at the time. She's now 35. But she and her friends, as they were sitting at the table eating their vanilla almond cereal, said, "This is better than dessert and ice cream." And I thought, what witchcraft is that? But it was cereal with milk, which is calcium and protein and B vitamins. So
Granola.
I now have a little vanilla to kind of, elevate it that much more. Now I'm going to try that next one. Yes. Honey?
Granola.
One of these cereal. One suggestion says put a drop of honey. Okay. Another thing I like in the winter is to warm the milk. Yeah. And what else could be?
Overnight oatmeal.
Overnight oatmeal is good. Oh, I know, my husband and I also, well, I should say I, and then he says, oh, sure. If I have chocolate chips, like semi-sweet chocolate chips, I might put 5 chocolate chips in with the popcorn and the cranberry and the walnuts. Yes,
Trader Joe's. Oh. Cranberry, semi-sweet. And maybe a Wonka, and we put one packet in it.
yeah. And so, yeah,
You know, I do it in plain, yogurt, I do it in.
Perfect.
yogurt.
absolutely. The only thing I would, in my mind, say, well, now I've got this plastic that has to be, it's gonna go into a landfill, blah, 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 blah. So if you were thinking of doing that long-term, you could buy your own half a pound of almonds and a half a pound of cashews. Yes, absolutely, positively, I completely understand. Yeah, and good on you for being as conscientious about it. Cause a lot of people say, oh, it's just a little bit. Next thing you know. Well, I thank you all for your attention. It's my pleasure. Thank you for online for staying there.
Thank you, Maudine. That food looks so good. I'm gonna try those recipes. But the deviled eggs is pretty much, the deviled eggs that you made is pretty much how I make mine, except for the cayenne pepper. I never tried that. But I'm gonna do that next time.
That was the hot sauce substitute.
Yeah, I'm gonna try that.
You gotta try the miso sweet potato bites.
Yes,
Oh, yes.
I'm gonna try all of that. Yes, yes.
Yeah, I could eat those all day.
I would eat one right now.
All right, I'm gonna say goodbye, everybody online. Take
Okay,
care.
thank
Thanks
you
for coming,
again.
guys.
All right, thank you.
All right, take care.
You
Bye-bye.
too.